From the EPAWA headquarters in South Allentown, Pennsylvania, this is Weather Weeklies, an informative video blog on the ins and outs of weather that affect you most in the EPAWA coverage area. The thoughts and opinions in this video are those of the forecaster alone and may or may not reflect the thoughts of the EPAWA staff as a whole, nor its constituents. Now, without further ado, here is meteorologist Bobby Martrich with Weather Weeklies.
Hey, good Sunday morning to you. Another edition of Weather Weeklies for Sunday, December 24th. Of course, this is Christmas Eve, so I want to wish a Merry Christmas to all those who celebrate. We will not be doing daily forecast updates on Christmas Monday. We will have those continued. These are the free products I'm talking about on the website. We'll have those updated again on Tuesday. Same thing with the daily forecast video. So that's one programming note I wanted to make sure you were all aware of. And we're going to get right into this video. I'm going to keep it shorter today because I know a lot of people have things to do. It's Christmas Eve, so a lot of planning to do. Of course, yesterday, this is our long-range table from Friday. Yesterday, we had above-average temperatures ahead of that cold front. It was actually very warm ahead of that front until that front came through last evening. But now temperatures are back to near average, what we expect today. So it's kind of a transition. It's a step down. Back to near average today and then slightly below average for Christmas Day and the day after. And then we're going to hit this below average period here. And this is going to be a serious below average time frame between the 27th, which is this Wednesday, straight through January 5th. You're not going to see highs out of the 20s on any day. It's going to be very cold. So just preparing you for this period here. It's going to be very cold. It's not unprecedented by any means. This is late December, early January. So can be expected. We've dealt with these before, but this is a prolonged period of very cold temperatures not getting out of the 20s in any location. If there was an area that's going to get out of the 20s, it would favor Philadelphia points south and east. And we're talking barely. So that's a very cold period. Then we transition from freezer to maybe cold fridge. Okay, we go from that from the 5th. We're still below average. Then we transition between the 6th and 9th to slightly below average. So it comes up a little bit, slight moderation, and then you get to the 10th. I think 10th onward, you hit your January thaw period, and that one could dominate much of the rest of the month. We still have that near to slightly above average for the entire month, despite starting off so cold early on. I mean, you're going to see departures from normal after that first week of January be well below normal. But I do think they rebound with a warmer second half of the month, or at least from the 10th onward. And there will be cold shots in there. It's not going to be just, okay, we're getting warm, we're going to stay warm. It will dominate a lot of that time after the 10th, I think, for the rest of the month of January. But you will have cold shots, and you'll still have chances for snow mixed in there as well. As far as snow is concerned, we have our snow showers event that's going to move through tonight into the wee hours of the morning on Sunday. This is still on track. Don't see any changes to this. And we have our map out here on the weather alerts maps. I have it up here in the presentation here. I will show you also. I also have two winter storm signals here. This one we outlined last week, and this is before any model had it, 29th to 30th. Wasn't showing up in the models, but as soon as they show up in the models, and I should be used to this in social media by now, as soon as they show up in the models, the weenies like to post these big, oh, look at the Euro, just put down 30 inches of snow, or we're going to get crushed. And I'm seeing the comments on the Facebook page too, and it's cute. We've had this signal for a while. We have another signal we added here, the 4th to the 6th. Nobody's talking about this one yet either, but don't worry, they will. Once it starts showing in the models, and these little model maps start going all over Twitter and Facebook and what have you. People start talking about that too. But this one here was our original signal. I do still like this time frame very much so. So there's a lot more things that can go right for this than wrong, I think, but there's still potential for something to go wrong as far as missing or just slightly grazing us. Very, very distinct possibilities on both camps. I can make arguments of why it misses. I can make arguments of why it hits. The reason why we're uncertain is the energy responsible for this does not arrive onshore until Tuesday night or early Wednesday. So the models can't get a grasp of what's going to happen downstream. It's kind of guessing. And I know that's really what the models do anyway, but at least when the models have concrete data that they can sample, and it's not over an area where there is no data available, like over the Pacific where there's nothing. There's no reporting stations, so there's nothing that really can measure that system, take a really good snapshot of that system. So once it's overlain and it's sampled and we know the, the different pressures and the pressure falls and things like that and the way it's moving, and we can see it a lot better. The models can see that. They can come up with a better forecast. That's why you see a lot of times when you get in the shorter range, the model's starting to adjust to something. So it'll figure out the signal out in the long range. It'll lose it right in this mid-range time frame, and then it'll bring it back. So I'm not worried about that system at all. I think there's still something there. Just how big remains to be seen. And again, we'll get into that once the energy's on shore. Tuesday, Wednesday time frame. And then this one will be following after. No changes down here. Still below average for the month and above average snowfall. Some of you have already reached above average snowfall, especially in eastern areas. I know lower Susquehanna Valley guys are probably like, we haven't got any snow this year, especially out by Harrisburg and those areas. You can make up for it if you have this. If this one hits, you can make up for that very quickly. So we'll just wait and see what happens. Here's our Christmas Eve snow map. Again, this is posted on the weather alerts page. No change. It stands as called. No change this morning at all. I don't see the reason to change anything. Nothing I've seen says, hey, you're going to be wrong here or there. So we're going to leave it. Now, this area B, don't get excited if you live in these areas. We haven't even sent alerts for this area. That's because we're not expecting any accumulations. We're just highlighting this area just so people, if they're going to be up at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, if they see a snowflake flying, mixing in with the rain, or I just don't want them, because they will, to say, oh, you said it was just going to be rain here, and I got snowflakes mixing in. Well, okay. So we have highlighted area that you could have a mix and no accumulations. That's all that is. This gray area, you could start getting these grassy coatings on your cars and things like that. Coating to 1 inch will allow for in those areas. Once you get up in the 1 to 2 area, which is up here in this medium blue, and 2 to 4 plus, which is up in the darker blue, that's where you can start getting into, if you're a snowplow guy, you have to worry about maybe salting in this medium blue. This might be a plowable event up here in parts of the northeastern Poconos and northwestern New Jersey. So just keep an eye on that for those areas. But we have no changes to the call. The National Weather Service also came in with winter weather advisories this morning. That is indicated by all these areas here that are outlined in the I guess this is a blue color, blue or purple. I don't know what color this is. But anyway, this color here is their winter weather advisory. They do have the winter weather advisories up for that area. So far, I mean, it might be expanded here in parts of central PA, but right now that's what they got. And their call's pretty much in line with what we have. They do, even though they don't have a winter weather advisory, Northern Bucks, Montgomery, they also have an opportunity for up to 1 inch of snow here. It's just not enough to warrant an advisory. Okay, so they're pretty much in agreement with what we have. Here is a simulated radar for tonight. I wanted to show you this one. This is what it's going to look like as we get into this evening. You can see the snow is going to spread in from the south. It's just light at first, but then you get this heavy burst here at the end. See that? Watch this heavy burst at the end. This has been showing on several of the past couple of model cycles. And this is when this low consolidates offshore. It's going to be light, and then all of a sudden, boom. Watch this right here. So you get that front of Genesis band here at the end here wrapping in as that low is consolidating. That's going to put down some very high rates of snow, we think. And that's why those areas up here in the northeastern part of the Poconos and also northwestern New Jersey can end up with a 2 to 4 inch range, because this rate here is very high. Over 1 inch an hour rates, although it won't be coming down for very long. It's just a quick, thick band, almost like a thunderstorm band coming in the summer. You get those big lines coming in like that. So just look for that tonight. But this is what it's looking like, coming in like mid to late evening across the area. Just kind of light stuff, and then all of a sudden it just comes in with that big band. But right, you see that cutoff here. Watch this. The green is rain, blue is snow. Look at this. You can see that line here? Lines up right where we have our map. And then you get the heavy burst of snow coming at the end. So that's what we're looking like as far as snowfall is concerned. And no reason to change our map right now. Here are the windy conditions expected on Christmas. This is something that was not talked about so much yet. I'm going to mention it now. This is what we have as a National Weather Service product here, but we agree with this idea that you could see on Christmas Day, and this is after that, of course, after the system starts to wrap up in New England and passes our area. So this will be morning, afternoon. It probably starts dying down in the evening here, but you get a wind gust here, 40 to 45, sustained winds for a time, 15 to 25, maybe 20 to 30 even for a time. But I do think 15 to 25 wind, and then wind gusts 40 to 45 are certainly possible, especially down here by the coast. You might even be approaching 50. You got max wind gust potential here, 47 in Dover, 48 in Atlantic City. From the National Weather Service. Interior is more like 40, but you get the idea here. So it's going to be very windy here on Christmas Day. So any snow that falls up in this area, we will also be dealing with blowing and drifting snow in the areas that have a little bit of a deeper snowpack. And that, of course, would be in northeastern Pennsylvania, northwest New Jersey. Here is what the change arrives this week. This is this Wednesday, and I'm not talking about not just slightly below. This is brutally below average. Oops, I went too far. This is very below average here as far as temperatures are concerned. You can see this big blob sitting over here. Well, this blob is this area here below average. This is at least 15 degrees below average at the 850 millibar level, which is 5,000 feet up. Okay, so what does that mean? Typically, that's not a big deal. If you're in the middle of summer and your normal high is say 84 degrees, and you have one of these cold shots come in like this, which probably would never be in summer, but let's just say it is. It means you have highs probably around 70, 65, 70 in the middle of summer. Okay, well, this is relative to this time of year also. So your normal highs right now are running in the 30s for most places. So guess what? If you have this move in here, your highs are going to be in the 20s easily. Very cold temperatures, and that's going to stick around for a while. There's nothing in this pipeline that's going to slow down this cold pattern, which is why we have between the 27th and the 5th of January below average temperatures, and probably not getting out of the 20s for highs on any of those days. So very cold temperatures, and again, this arrives on Wednesday onward. So look for that. Now, the next weekend system I want to touch on briefly here, just because there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of uncertainty with track and evolution. Here's that system on the latest GFS, is the 6Z GFS. You have a low that's offshore, well offshore, and off to our southeast, and relatively weak. So what does that do? Brings you some snow showers across our region, and that's it. No big deal, okay? But you just go back to a day or so ago, 2 days ago, not even. You had a big snow event, and some model runs every 6 hours. This runs every 6 hours. You could have something light now. You could have nothing the next run. You could have a blizzard the following run. The model's not going to be able to figure this out yet, but this gives you the idea of the potential. If it's a little closer and tucked in, you can have some pretty good snowfall across our region. We still like this time frame, and here is the upper level vorticity. And this is the reason why I'm not going to do anything until at least Tuesday. This little piece right here, see this? I'm going to circle this. This is the piece of energy that's going to be responsible for coming across the coast like this, and will eventually turn into our system. What this does, once this gets on land out here, and it can be adequately measured, is by the model data and ingested into the model data, which won't be until Wednesday, okay, because this is looking at Tuesday evening. It's still offshore. This is not a measurable zone. You don't have areas that can measure this properly out here. You just started getting into some areas once this comes on shore on Tuesday night. So once we get into Wednesday's runs, this energy will be on shore. It can be properly sampled and compared to past model cycles and things like that, and then they can figure out where it's going to go from there. So right now, the threat is there. There's a favorable setup here in the atmosphere. It's a very favorable setup right here, okay, for something to happen. It's just a matter of, once this energy comes on shore, which won't be until Tuesday night or early Wednesday, the models will have these crazy solutions every 6 hours or every 12 hours, whatever runs. So you're going to see back and forth. My advice is just enjoy the holiday. Don't even bother looking at the models. It's going to drive you nuts, okay, until we get to probably Wednesday and beyond, and we can get a better idea of what's going to happen at that time. So to summarize, Christmas Eve snow for the interior locations. You can see that on our weather alerts page if you want to take a look at that, but no change to our call this morning. And it will be colder this week, but the core of the cold arrives on Wednesday, below freezing high temperatures at least through January 5th. So that's a long time, probably not out of the 20s in most locations. If you're not, unless you're in Philadelphia, I mean, you might hit 30, whoop-de-doo. But interior are going to be not out of the 20s for a very long time, between the 27th, which is this Wednesday, and January 5th. Winter storm signals exist between the 29th and of December and January 6th. Again, the 29th, 30th is the first one. Between the 4th and 6th that we're going to outline is the second one. Not being talked about yet with this one, but it will be, don't worry. And anything you see in the meantime as far as snow maps, things like that, just ignore them. Just ignore them. Like I said, you're going to have to wait until the energy comes on shore and everything can be properly sampled, and that won't be until Tuesday night and early Wednesday of next week. January thaw period arrives around January 10th. For those that you hate the cold and snow and all that, that's your time frame. Circle down your calendar. That'll be an interesting time for you when we get out of the cold. Of course, we're discussing any advanced discussion, not publicly. I know we're still getting I say this all the time, but we keep getting questions on the Facebook page. What's this going to do? What's your thoughts on this? What's your thoughts on that? We don't give our thoughts publicly until something's imminent, okay? So the premium forum is the way to go with that. Click on the image below this Below this video will take you to the My Pocket Meteorologist sign up page. Sign up for the premium forum. You can even combine this with weather alerts if you want to have alerts sent to your county for any kind of snow with start and end times and things like that sent to you. You can combine the two at a discount. But the premium forum is where all the discussion for the advanced goes. That's where we interact with people, answer questions, give our thoughts, and comprehensive model analysis ahead of storm threat. So this storm coming up, we will be doing this in the forum and exclusively in the forum until something is imminent. And you can join that forum by clicking on the image below and selecting the premium forum option on the winter weather alerts page, and also some combination options there as well. So check that out. I said I wanted to keep this shorter, so I'm going to stop this here. I will see you again next week for another video on New Year's Eve, and I'll probably keep that abbreviated too, unless we have something big coming. But in the meantime, just follow our shorter range forecasts and also the weather alerts page for the latest information on any incoming storms. Have a Merry Christmas to all of you who celebrate, and take care. I'll see you next week.